So we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch right now. Yes, they play video games on Twitch, but there's a whole lot of other shit on Twitch.
Got a couple friends with Twitch streams of their gameplay.
Yeah, so I'm definitely a gamer, and I don't know why this shit ain't popping up yet.
Is this headpiece coming across good? Because it's new.
It is. It just has a little bit of a buzz, like lingering after effect to it, but it's fine. It's fine. So
I don't got too much background noise, do I?
No, you're good. You're good, bro.
I mean, I can take it off and just.
I mean, we already live, bro. So we good. Okay. The show has started, gentlemen. The show has started.
Okay, so we're like a minute into it. I just looked up and saw the timer.
Okay. Yeah, so just give me a second. I just need to share this out to some different groups, and then we will dive right into this. So everybody knows I do this in the beginning of all the shows. It's better to do this than to just leave it silent, apparently. So.
Something keeps going in my eye.
Okay. See, whenever I'm doing shit, that's when everybody want to message me, want to blow me up.
Wish I could see the.
We only got one comment so far, but we got a few people already watching. What's up, Cynthia? What's up, Mike? So what, that group. Good Lord. You have to put a trigger warning on the show.
Trigger warning?
Well, for this particular group, I'm sharing it too. Like, trigger warning.
Oh. Okay.
I
mean, I'm gonna try not to drop any F-bombs and all that sort of stuff. I'll try.
Man, the swear words actually triggered people that, well, that would just be sad because this is the real world. Come on, y'all.
Yeah, that's that. I'm one of those real world people, and I try not to offend on purpose. She will, but purposely offend. It's weird.
Well, sounds very relevant to tonight's show. Just give me a little bit more, guys. Turn it to that one, and then one more page, and I swear I'm done. This is fucking Saturday. Man. I went to ham on some Chick-fil-A earlier today, bro.
Chick-fil-A?
Oh.
You still eating Chick-fil-A?
Hell yeah.
You still eating Chick-fil-A after all they do against the community?
I eat Chick-fil-A. I listen to R. Kelly, listen to Michael Jackson.
Oh, damn it. Did you have to listen to R. Kelly though? See, that's what else? I might draw the line here. I'm like, if it's on the radio for free, I'm like, okay, cool. But like, I'm not trying to go out and buy the R. Kelly collection. No.
I'm not patronizing. I still choose Michael Vick's
cool. I don't have a problem with Michael Vick, Michael Jackson, because it all turned out to be lying. What's wrong with Madden?
No, I'm saying, and when I play Madden, I still choose Michael Vick. It's a lot of folks that people done cancel. A lot of things people done cancel that I'm just not interested in.
So Michael Vick went to jail, did his time and everything, and y'all still gonna keep him down. Let the man play. Let him live his life.
People's mad about that, bro. But yeah, I don't care. Eating all the shit. I never made a solemn promise not to. So, anyhow, what was I gonna say? All right, so this is, I guess, part 2 of the Men Like Us podcast reaction to Dave Chappelle's latest Netflix special, The Closer. I got a couple of more brothers that, wanted to share their opinions that didn't have a chance to get on last night. And I love opening up my platform to let my brothers speak. let them get their thoughts and opinions out there, because look, plenty of people are hearing from women in the trans community, and they're going to hear from the men that love them as well. So that's what the fuck we do here. We give voice to that group of men. You may not hear what you want, but we're gonna give it to you raw. So with that, we're just gonna dive right into it, fellas. And I'm sorry. Well, let's you guys introduce yourselves again. Brian, introduce yourself. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, man. It's been a while since you've been on the show.
Yeah, man. I'm Brian. I found Chris from his first podcast, and he always been speaking some good knowledge, and just a good person to really reach out and really. I feel like he really helped a lot of people and really kind of helped build a community and stuff like that. And so I just want to help out as much as that he has been, and he's always been talking about good things. And yeah,
it's been a minute,
sorry,
man.
Multitasking.
It's all good. So, brother Doug, introduce yourself, man.
Hey, so basically, I'm Doug. It's not a lot to introduce about me, other than the fact that I've kind of been doing this thing for a long time. I've been in a relationship for 18 years, same person type relationship, long term, and we've just been through all the good times, the bad times, and sometimes I like to say what's on my mind. I like to say things to make people think past their emotional responses, and get to down to the bone, basically. So that's why I say, like, yeah, I know I'm gonna say some stuff and people are not gonna agree with me, but the truth of the matter is, there's more to it than that one perspective that you may have right now. So that's why I wanted to say my piece about the closer.
Fair enough. All right. Well, before we really jump into this, everyone, so I had my first appearance on a national television show. I was on the Isaiah Factor Uncensored on Fox Soul. It's part of Fox's new efforts to create, everybody's got their own black version of their channel now. So Fox has something like that. It's all original programming. You can go online, check it out. It was dope. So I was there with my homegirls, Samaya and sorry, I'm messing up this whole thing now.
You jumped in.
Yeah, so I'm with my homegirl Samaya and Jamie, and it was a really good conversation. So please go on to search the Isaiah Factor Uncensored, find the clip, check it out, share with your friends.
Would I be wrong in saying how much I boycott Fox and I probably won't be seeing that? Would it be too much?
I mean, you could, but you could just support our one little video clip.
I might, just because it's you. But other than that, like,
this isn't Fox News, And what's funny about all that Fox shit? People want to be like, oh, anti-Fox News, but all y'all motherfuckers was watching Empire every motherfucking week on Fox.
Wait, excuse me. What's Empire? What's Empire?
A show that was once upon a time very popular with people. My computer.
Oh, that Lucius and Taraji P. Henson.
Lucius Lyon and all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch that, and so
a lot of people did though. It was a ratings monster.
I had lost Fox a while ago, slightly before the fiasco of the orange-haired bastard that became the leader of the Republican attempted takeover of the country. But we won't get into that. The object is the closer. Let me focus on the closer.
Sure. All right, so let's just get to it then, bruh. Let's get to it then. Doug, in your opinion, did Dave Chappelle go too far with his remarks in the closer?
No. Okay. Dave Chappelle actually pulled off a genius comedic performance in the standpoint of comedy as an art form. Where people might get upset is if you really thought about it, he's actually using this comedy platform to convict certain thought patterns about himself that people had brought up when he was in another state of mind. How many years ago? 16 or 17. He says it in the show. Like 16 years ago, he was making some offhanded jokes that were, hurtful. But he didn't know better back then, And the ignorant jokes that you think that he said in this new show are ignorant on purpose, because he's like, well, it's free speech in this country. And if I'm doing a comedy show, I might just be making jokes, but you don't know how I feel about that particular subject. Like, I might be cool with the subject, but it's just some funny shit I thought up. And let me run it by a couple of people and see if it's going to be that controversial. And I'll take the blame later. Like one of the jokes was just really, ooh. But then you got to realize what he said afterwards, about his friend who committed suicide, where people thought that he started going too far at the end of the show. And you kind of gotta, I'm not saying give him a pass. I'm just saying you kind of got to think that comedy is an art. And if I'm going to do it as a career, I'm going to do what comedy is supposed to do. And that's push the limits and entertain you, make you laugh, make you think, upset you a little bit, and make you say to yourself, wow, why was I upset about that? Because it's kind of funny. I mean, things used to be hurtful. Again, it goes back to censorship. So we're doing a public censorship of what people can say and do. But we want to be free to do what we want to do. So there's that. Dave is trying to say, hey, that line needs to be blurred, because if we're going to be a society, let's call a spade sometimes. What is the lady that just said something about Whoopi's weight gain, and everybody jumped all over her, and she has to do this apology on Twitter, and Dave was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck, because Twitter's not a real place.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Like, I feel you on that, but it's just like, if you didn't give a fuck and Twitter wasn't a real place, I don't think he would have set aside so much time to really go in so hard on this shit. That's what I'm saying. I feel like he was irritated a little bit, and was not irritated,
yes,
but like,
yes,
I'm gonna
very irritated. That's why he said it.
Do this, and I'm not gonna let it go.
Because I have a platform to say my piece. Since y'all want to say all that about me on Twitter, guess what? I got a whole ass show on Netflix, and I'm going to comment back on it. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of people are. All right. Well, I'm not going to say it like this. Yes, I am. So there's a lot of people who have podcasts to say what they want to fucking say.
Of course. So
on your podcast, you can say what you want to say. So he has a show, and he says, hey, these people are trying to, cut off my livelihood because I made some fucking jokes about it.
Livelihood, though? Like,
yeah.
Here's the thing, man.
Yeah, he makes a living being a comedian. So now y'all gonna tell him, hey, your jokes aren't funny and people should cancel you. So he said, you know what? But wait a minute. But hold on, but wait a minute though. Okay. But this show is one of these. To everybody who thought I was an asshole, I'm going to be an even bigger asshole. And guess what? There's people still laughing at my comedy. Whether you like it or not, I still have an audience. And this is what Dave Chappelle was doing in this show. Yeah, some of it was touchy, very touchy, but it's what comedy does. Comedy is supposed to push the envelope. Nobody was mad when he said he was the Magic Johnson of the coronavirus. Was you? No. Or did anybody pay that much attention to that joke? Because there's a whole HIV community that could be like, oh, see, he had to do that, and But nobody is saying that. We're worried about people who feel a certain type of way about a guy doing a stand-up routine. Stand-up routine. My friend who's upstairs watching it now was like, you remember Ralphie May? He would say, he said, I'm not politically correct, but I'm correct. You know, I'm gonna say it the best way I know how to say it. And if you look back in time, there's a person I see something and I don't know much about it, but I say something and somebody pulls me to the side and say, hey, bro, you know, some of those words you were using were bad. Like, people don't like the T word like that anymore. You know, and he said, oh, I up my pronoun game. I know I kind of got a better understanding of what I need to say. But guess what, y'all? I'm Dave Chappelle. Fuck it. I'm going to say some shit. And y'all going to be like, oh. And that's what happened. And so it's one of those things where it's not an enlightenment moment, but it's like, hey, y'all, come on, think about it. Like, I'm up here doing a show. And if I don't have material to make y'all laugh at something, what am I supposed to do? Like, why would I be relevant anymore? Why would I be here to entertain you? And if you pay attention, I packed the house again. And so now I'm going to say some extra ignorant shit just to see what y'all going to do now on Twitter. Since y'all try to do all of that to me the last time. And that's what happens with this show, because so I've seen it 5 times because I had to make sure I'm saying what I'm saying right now. Today, I watched it 3 times. I had enough time today. I was supposed to do something, but my car overheated and I came home because I couldn't get to my destination. They know about it and all. And I watched the show because I knew I was going to be talking to you today. I said, let me make sure that I'm saying what I'm saying, because yes, I can see how a lot of people would get offended, but I'm saying get out of your emotional response and understand that this is just a comedic performance. Because at the end, he was very poignant about, his friend committing suicide, which is not a response of a transphobic person that people try to make him out to be. It's just that he's one of those, like, when Howard Stern was the shock DJ, this Dave Chappelle is the shock comedian. You know, Cat Williams. Yeah, nobody does. But if you're paying attention to the art of comedy and the way he's displaying it, yes, he's being worse of an asshole than Dennis Leary or his name is Andrew Dice Clay. Mm-hmm. You know, Andrew Dice Clay's jokes was so.
I would consider him a shock comedian.
Yeah, Andrew Dice Clay was so misogynistic and you know, and Dave Chappelle is doing it from another level, another intellectual level, and like when he tells the joke about the book about the giant black man who gets shot with bullets and his feelings are hurt. They don't hurt him. They just hurt his feelings. Mm-hmm. And how that joke took so long to build. And then I'm not a fan of the N-word. So I was like, damn, he should have did that better than that. But at the same time, the joke turned out to be kind of funny. Mm-hmm. It turned out to make me go, this dude is crazy. Like, why would, oh man, you know, and it's a tie-in, but people was just waiting for him to get to them trans jokes, the jokes about the trans community, jokes about the LGBT community, so they can pick and choose at it instead of seeing the jokes for just, I'm going to say some stuff just to piss some people off and see how many other people laugh at it to prove a point that our society is a bit twisted. You can't cry about censorship, but then you want to push to censor. Mm-hmm. That's a bad thing. You can say, hey Dave, maybe you shouldn't say that because it's offensive. And Dave is going to look at you like, offensive how? Because I'm doing comedy. Without a little offense, we can't do comedy. Like when we play the dozens against each other, it's offensive.
I mean, I think
your mama jokes are extremely offensive, but we all be like, oh, them just mama jokes.
I think he
did a good job in coming back from what he did before when he didn't know better.
Well, I just think he did it's for me, it's not about the humor. You know, my criticisms of the whole thing is less about the humor and more about, you know, the misinformation.
What misinformation did he have? What misinformation was in the closing? Let's get into that.
Okay. Gender is a fact.
He didn't say it wasn't.
No.
Nowhere in the show did he say it wasn't. No.
He said gender is a fact. Word for word. That's what he said.
So, you talking about when he said that every human being passed through the legs of a female?
He said that right before he said every human being passed through the legs of a female.
Yeah. But you see how he tied it in? But you see how he tied it in that way?
He was conflating gender and biological sex.
Really? That's what you got from that.
That's what a lot of people got from that.
That's what a lot of people got from it. Yeah. But see, this is where we get into perception, POVs. The man said what he said. So now we make it more than what he said.
No, I take it at face value.
What did he say that was untrue?
Gender is a fact. A fact that can't change. That's literally what he was saying.
Let me ask you a small question. Let me ask you this. What's untrue about gender that he said?
Okay. He said gender is a fact. So this essentially what he's saying is you can't change your gender. That's essentially what he was getting at, and he was validating.
Let me ask you a small question. Can I ask you a small question?
Sure.
Can I ask you a small question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Remember when he got into the part about the turf and all that sort of stuff? And
Team Turf.
Yeah. There's a point where he's explaining that that's a joke as well too. But I'm going back. But let me go back to the gender thing. So
Douglas Tracy says, "Let me finish."
Go ahead. I'm only because Tracy said so. I'm gonna hold up for a second. Hold up. No. I'm gonna hold up because Tracy says so.
Oh my God. Sorry, y'all. We both know Tracy. It's just I guess the inside joke thing. It's just funny.
Yeah.
It just came up. So. But yeah, go ahead, bro.
But there's truisms in what he said. Yeah. In the sense that you and I are both sitting here as men.
See.
Right? There are people who are having, in his own words, a human experience where they are indeed trans. We cannot deny that either. But in the course of a comedy routine, again, there are some things that are being said on purpose to lead up into things that will tie in and make sense eventually, because that's why I said what he said before he made the comment about passing through the legs of females, you know. And so, you know, when you see it to the very end, you see that in reality, he kind of thinks being an asshole is just funny.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's his perspective of life. It was an entertaining show, even though, yes, there are going to be some people who are offended by it. But are they offended by the actual show? Or are they offended by his past when he didn't know any better, before he actually knew someone who was transgender or anybody in the LGBT community that he wanted to make fun of? So after having actual experiences, now he's grown some, still an asshole, but he's grown some in the sense that this show is particularly performed in a comedic art form sense to say, you know what, y'all can cancel me all you want to, but I'm still gonna try to do what I do and be a comedian and fuck the rest of y'all. I got some shit to say and y'all want me to be quiet. But then when somebody says something about y'all being quiet, y'all, oh, the punching down part. I was mad about that.
So first on the canceling part of it, that's kind of going on our next part of it, but I'll just go into that. But really, you can't cancel somebody that doesn't need money. Like, it hurt the baby to cancel his shows because he needed those concerts. Those are big paydays for him. Those mostly mainstream. So if you cancel
concerts, if you cancel Dave Chappelle shows, what happens? Why not?
You can't cancel. You can try all you want to, but people will still show up. Because so here's what canceling is. Canceling, if somebody does get canceled, which is not something that I fully wholeheartedly support. I'm not here to cancel Dave Chappelle. But when somebody is canceled, you are, like, I think what you
blackball. You used to say blackball.
Yeah, you're blackballing them from professional events because whatever they did, it's not socially acceptable. So now they can't, like what they did with Kevin. Oh, you can't host the Emmys now because you said this however many years ago.
Well, no, what they did with Kevin was, if Kevin Hart hosts the Emmys, we will not watch it. And that will bring the Emmys ratings down. Mm-hmm. So Kevin said, all right, well, I always wanted to do it, but I mean, if they don't want me to do it, I'll bow out.
Yeah, preemptive canceling. But, essentially cut people off from opportunities that can make them money.
Let's talk about that, Kevin, for a second. But he said, well, what I do wrong, I didn't do nothing wrong. I didn't do no wrong. And then all of a sudden, maybe I did. So he kind of grew from that bad experience.
Let's be real. Every black comedian, period, it's a reality that somewhere along the way they made a gay joke. They made a joke at the expense of the LGBT community because that's the kind of shit black audience like to laugh at.
One of Eddie Murphy's biggest concert movies, he had the joke about the gay dude on the top of the police car, waiting for him at the airport when he got off the.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Eddie Murphy wrong. Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, and they
time. Yeah,
this was before canceling, and they was really upset about that too. If canceling was a thing, Eddie Murphy would have been canceled right then and there, and we wouldn't be having Coming to Americas and Coming to America 2 and all that type of crap. Because they would have canceled him right then and there because they were that upset.
Well, back then they didn't have the voice that they have now.
Which is why he made that joke, because. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, in the mid 80s when that was
because
made, it was socially acceptable.
In Delirious, he did the honeymooners joke.
Oh, right. Mr. T, right? Was that it?
No, Ralph and Ed Norton.
Okay, gotcha.
The honeymooners. And comedy. Oh man, Jesus. Richard Pryor would be canceled right now for the jokes he told. Yeah.
I'll say it like this. How's about
that's
this?
That's how edgy his jokes were.
Bro, we can't go digging back in the 70s and 80s. What we can do is judge people based on the societal standards at the time their jokes are delivered.
But let me explain to you something. I'm not digging. I lived it.
Yeah, but it's still like 40 years ago.
I grew up during that. You
can't say they would be canceled now, though. It was a different era.
No, so what I'm doing, I'm equating the nonsense to how people are reacting to it from the 70s, 80s, 90s to now. The things we used to saying the word tranny was a thing we did, and it was.
I mean, even 10 years ago.
Not as bad. Listen, it wasn't as bad even coming from the trans community itself. Because we didn't have better language. We didn't have better terms to use. Mm-hmm. And as time goes on, we learn better and we say, yeah, that is hurtful. you know, but we still allow people to use that N-word freely as hell.
Some people.
It's very hurtful. Yeah,
Look,
it's very hurtful.
If the N-word was all over that redneck comedy tour thing that was big however many years ago, if that's what they were doing, then all hell would have broken loose. All hell they would have been canceled like a motherfucker.
But the truth of the matter is, we still shouldn't accept it even from our own people.
All right. Well, I mean, that's an opinion that not everybody shares.
But no, I'm saying if it's such a hurtful word, and we allow our own people to call us that, what example are we setting for the people we don't want us to call? Well, if you're doing it, why can't I? Well, because it's hurtful. How's it hurtful if your so-called homeboy just called you that?
Because of context.
While I'm standing right here as a white person, and you guys are going back and forth using the N-word, and I'm like, okay, so we're all like, you can't say that, motherfucker.
Wait, go ahead, Brian. You were going to jump in.
I was going to ask, is it like when you said, why we let our own people hurt us? Was like, what do you mean when you say that? Like, why we let our own people hurt us? The word is
okay. So the word is supposed to be hurtful in general. So when our own people use it, all of a sudden it's not hurtful because, we softened it with an A. Okay, put it this way. I'm being the devil's advocate right now.
Yeah,
because I don't like the N-word myself. Personally, I was raised not to like that word, not to use that word. Like I was just telling Andrea that if I use that word in the house, my grandfather made me stay outside. It was his house. You can't use that word in my grandfather's house. You know, Gramps, I was just telling a Richard Pryor joke. I don't want to hear that word in my house. Go, sit your ass on the porch for a while and think about what you did.
Well,
my grandfather canceled my use of using that word.
I get it.
This is me being an asshole. This is me.
It's kind of like opinion based, situation based. But when it comes to white people saying it, it's like I don't see any reason why we would owe them any type of explanation of why they can't use it, right? It's like
I didn't say
anything about it. I'm not saying you did. But I'm just saying, or what I'm trying to get to is that if when it comes to like, you said, how come I can't say it? Like, there's nothing we owe them. I'm saying this, not putting words in your mouth. Not saying that you were saying this. I'm saying that there is nothing that we owe them for needing to say that word. So it's like if that's one thing. Wait. Sorry, 1 sec. If that's one thing that they can't say, I mean, there's tons of things they shouldn't be saying, but if that's one thing that they can't say, where it's like on site you're in trouble. You know, I don't feel that there's like we need to punish ourselves for saying it, because if it's something that we use,
it's not that we're punishing ourselves. I'm saying we should correct ourselves in our usage of it. Like Dave Chappelle is throwing that word around. There's a whole bunch of white people in the audience laughing, and he even referred to the big white Texas gay guy as a nigga. You know, and I was like,
I use the word when I say nigga, I call everybody nigga, like everybody. It could be a little girl, it could be a grown old man. It doesn't matter. Like if I'm talking to my friends or something, and I'm talking about
Eddie Griffin.
Go ahead.
Eddie Griffin said something about using the word because he wanted it to lose all its meaning. So everybody was the N-word. So it wouldn't have any meaning, any connotations. But there are still people who understand that it was, that a bad slavery term.
Well, I think that's the big part about all of this is, through generations, the word means different things to different people. So it's definitely a far more hurtful term for your granddad who got called that 50 times a day.
Wait a minute. Say that. Start that over again for me. Say that one more time. The generational part. How times has changed and everything.
Yeah, it's a generational thing. It just things hit different for people in different situations with different lived experiences, and different generations have different lived experiences. So, and I called this out last night with Dave Chappelle. I'm like, look, Dave Chappelle's 48. He's not most men who are 48 are probably not the most progressive creatures on the planet. And that's not giving them a pass because the internet is here. Anybody can learn.
You know how old I am, right?
More than 48.
Yeah. No. I'm not ashamed. I'm 53. I turned 53 this year, and my thing is, I like people to learn and think further than what they think they know. Mm-hmm. You know, like Brother Brian was saying, you know, I want to have a whole discussion on that based on what Brother Brian was saying about the N-word. But that's not this show. What I'm saying is, as far as what Dave Chappelle did in this show, it's not as hurtful as it was the last time he made those mistakes. It's more of an agitation. It's more, I'm going to come and I'm going to irritate your I'm going to put that feather in your ass so that you can say, Dave Chappelle's a real asshole. But in reality, if you paid attention to what I was saying, I'm channeling Dave Chappelle. If you were paying attention to what I was saying, there's some other things in here that'll make you realize why are you upset about a comedy routine? Because I had a friend, Daphne, who made an even more interesting joke after bombing on stage than anybody saw coming as a trans person. You know, the hardwood floors joke. There is actually footage of a set where she's there at a Dave concert, you know, and that story he tells is true. So why did we not see the show as maybe it's an ode to his friend?
I mean,
in the ending.
But regardless of it is whoever it's ode to, or if it's comedy, can it still be offensive?
Yes, I didn't say it wasn't. I never said it wasn't.
I just think
it was offensive on purpose, is what I was saying. I said it was offensive on purpose.
I'm not arguing with that, but because someone's offensive, they can what's the term? Reap what they sow, right? It's like regardless of what they meant about it.
But then again, it's situational, like you said, because he's on stage. Now, if he was in the streets cussing somebody out like that,
even if he's on stage, why does it change? Why does it matter?
Well, let me ask you a small question. Did you laugh at any of the jokes during the show? If you watched it, did you laugh at anything?
I only read it. I haven't seen it yet.
I mean, look, the first like 40 minutes of it, you know, my neighbors could probably hear me. I was yelling. Like, it was hilarious to me.
Cracking up, laughing. I laughed through the whole thing because
I mean, there were some moments where I'm like, okay, that ain't.
Yeah, like I said, what about the HIV community he offended?
I mean, you know what? I didn't really crack at that one because, you know, he wasn't talking about Freddie Mercury. He was talking about Magic Johnson. Like, Magic Johnson always been all right. And I mean,
yeah, but what's the difference about talking about Freddie Mercury? What's the difference about talking about Freddie Mercury or Magic?
Death.
Okay, so but
compared to Magic Johnson, who just never.
What's the difference of just
played in the Olympics?
Yeah, but what's the difference of making fun of anything HIV? Period. What's the difference? Situational? Is it situational or generational or whatever other ideology that we had that makes it okay?
I don't know anybody else with HIV. It would be like universally funny to bring up because Magic Johnson's doing more than okay. He ain't struggling with shit.
Did you forget our other podcast? I've been HIV positive for like 18, 19 years.
Yes, I remember.
Thriving, yes. Baby. You know,
you're not Magic.
So what's the difference? but I'm saying everybody is. Why are we concentrating on celebrity instead of? Oh, wait a minute. There's this thing called reality. Why are we not seeing the reality of? Okay, Magic's doing well. It's not because of his money that he was doing well, or his celebrity that kept him doing well. Because there's a lot of celebrities that died because they didn't do what they could have done to make it okay for them.
Now that's the perception with the whole Magic thing.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the perception of the comedy of Dave Chappelle, and everybody is mad, and we get mad because people are saying things. aren't we allowed to say stuff? Are we allowed to say things?
Yes, but in the same way that I reacted to Dave and the comments that he made, the things that he did, I would react pretty much the exact same way if it were a white comedian, because what I saw in that was he was sharing misinformation, reinforcing stereotypes that were really outdated, and really giving.
Again, I'm going to ask you, what real misinformation did he share?
Okay, so he went with he helped fuel assumptions about what's between every trans woman's legs, about their bodies, everybody having Adam's apples.
What did he say? What did he say?
He's looking for
I want you to
talk
about I want you to talk about the part where he makes the joke about the beet juice.
I mean, what is that? Oh, the vaginas. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, he made that joke about that too. Yeah, it's all of that stuff. So I'm just saying, at the very least. But here's the thing, man.
As a joke,
let me finish.
And he doesn't know.
Let me finish this real quick, though. Like, his biggest sin in all of this, which is, I could see him not seeing far enough to understand this, but what he really did was he gave ammo. People were able to take a lot of what he said and run out there and use it against the trans community as validation for them to not validate any trans woman's experience. Because Dave Chappelle's an intelligent person. Everybody respects him.
To not validate.
Yes, to not validate.
But
he called his friend a man. He didn't have to validate his friend as a woman.
But that ties into the part where he says that Daphne asked him to understand that she's having a human experience.
Mm-hmm.
And in that sentence alone, it ties in all the ignorance that you think someone is talking about. They get it, but they chose to lighten it up. I'm not giving Dave a pass on a lot of the horrible things he said that came across as funny.
You should have led with that.
Listen, huh?
I say you should have led with that.
What, not giving him a pass?
Yeah.
I did say that. I said that about 20 minutes ago.
All right.
When I first started my tirade, I'm not giving Dave a pass. I'm saying that in this era, we have gotten so sensitive that, remember I was talking about censorship and we don't want to be censored, but we want to censor somebody else because they hurt our feelings. You know,
But who decides
my lady went through something today at work, you know, that could have been a big legal case. I can't see what's being said down there.
Michaela said Daphne sounds like Flame. And then
Flame who?
Flame Monroe.
Flame Monroe? No, I don't like Flame. I don't sound like Flame.
No, not you.
Flame,
you said
Flame.
Daphne sounded like Flame, and that was another part of it.
Yeah, a little bit. Yes, I remember that.
Daphne. He pulled the My Black Friend card with this whole thing. Like,
yes,
hey, I'm not transphobic. I have one trans friend.
I agree with you on that one. I do agree with you on that one, and that's what I thought made the show a bit more humorous for me. Because I personally wouldn't say they were good acquaintances because of when he says she was my tribe, the comedians. Other than that, Dave still has a lot to learn. I see it as he has a lot to learn. Yeah. He did make a legitimate attempt to learn something, but he still wanted to keep it in the vein of comedy. And this is what he's forcing. He's forcing this comedy to saying, look, I'm saying shit that I thought was funny. If it's upsetting to you, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm going to say my piece. And there's people here that are laughing along with me because these are some thoughts I've been thinking. Remember, somebody used to say, these are some thoughts I've been thinking. I think it's J. Anthony Brown or something like that. But these thoughts I've been thinking, and they turn out to be funny, no matter how ignorant, upsetting, hurtful. We played the dozens as kids, and damn. I had a friend who was born with their fingers fused together, you know, and we was some dumbass kids and be like, "Yo, Flipper!" Oh shit! Nobody thought that was fucking hurtful. We was just being mean kids.
Kids are the meanest creatures on
earth. But now that we know better, we be, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I was offending you. That I was hurting your feelings like that, you know. And Dave was like, "Yeah, I get it, but I'm still gonna say some funny shit."
I think
because this is the closer. I'm gonna just say my piece and step, because now y'all got some real shit to talk about. But I made y'all all think some shit.
He made an attempt
because a lot of us. Great. Well, not just great, but
he attempted something. I think
I'm going to say
done something really good with this. He could have. It was a miss.
Yeah.
He missed, but he made something really beautiful.
It's a follow up. It needs a follow. Yeah, it would be beautiful with more content. But for what it is, it was entertaining. The poignancy is missed because we already came into it with, man, fuck Dave and that dumb shit he be doing.
Nah, man.
We already had that perception. But listen, what I'm saying is we already had that perception from what he did 16 years ago. You know what I mean? And then he was here. He learned a little bit more, but then he tried to talk here. He tried to talk with that much, and it's like, dude, but you didn't get it all. But it still was about the art of being humorous. And if we just let it stay there, someone could actually go to that guy and say, hey, maybe there's a better way you could do it. But if we're all going to come with vitriol and be like, man, fuck Dave, because he be saying shit that ain't make no sense. He don't know what he was talking about. Nobody's going to know. You wouldn't listen to that if I told you, hey, man, your podcast could be different if you did this, that, and other thing. But no, you want to say what you want to say. You're not going to listen to me, are you? But if I say, hey, bro, you know what? If you added a light system or you had like a better set, you would listen because I came to you a different way. This is my whole point, is that a lot of times we have this emotional attitude response, and then we don't get the whole thing.
Well, that's a part of the canceling conversation.
But it's human. It's human behavior.
Brian, did you have any thoughts on this? The canceling and how people are approaching this.
I mean, when it comes to cancel culture, I really don't see anything a problem with it, really. But because when it comes to like who decides what's sensitive, right? And if 80% of the world is sensitive, 8% of America is sensitive, 8% of whatever population is sensitive, why does it matter if that 20% that's like, oh, you guys are too sensitive? Like, why is there level of sensitivity or level of non-sensitivity matter? Because if Dave Chappelle can say whatever he wants, make a joke what he wants, and yes, you do go into like you paying to go see Dave Chappelle after knowing him, not personally, but after knowing his stuff for 16 years, like that all right, this is not going to be the most politically correct stuff, right? And so, regardless of and also like regardless of whatever you laugh at, that doesn't mean you don't find stuff offensive. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of stuff that we heard that may have offended us, but at the time we made a laugh, right? Sometimes I laugh from anger. It's I don't think there's any one instant of someone's whole set or whole attitude or a whole conversation or part of the conversation that will say like, all right, well, because I laughed at this, but got mad at this, but laughed at this, everything has to be okay. Or vice versa. I think you can be mad about what you're mad about, and you can let slide on whatever doesn't matter to you. So it's like, do I think Dave Chappelle should be canceled? If enough people think so, yeah. If enough people were offended by it, it's like, yeah. But I mean, also at the same time, I don't care if he's canceled because he will only learn or he will only not learn. one thing is I don't really think canceling is so much forever. You get put into if you get quote unquote canceled, now it's your time to reflect and try to learn about something, or you have enough people in your party or enough people around you in your circle where it's like, hey, I don't need everyone else's opinion. I don't need all these people. I got enough people who I care about, who are opinions actually matter to me to keep going how I'm going. Right? Doesn't matter who I fan or who I'm not a fan or whatever. So I just think like the cancel culture. I feel like such an easy. I don't know. I feel like the whole cancel culture is such an easy thing to pick on because we are some people are like, oh, I'm not that sensitive, so why should this? I thought it was funny. Some people I seen you laugh, so I know you thought it was funny, but it's like you could laugh at something, you could feel any type of way and have any type of action to something. That's just. But like that actions are just.
So really though, cancel culture has been around for a long time though. That's the thing. Like people acting like this is a new phenomenon, and
it's got a new name.
Yeah, it's got a new name. I don't even think it had a name before.
It's the now that we're in this day and age,
it was called blackballing
of technology. It's like in the internet, we can reach each other more, and we have more power in numbers, right? But that goes for everybody.
In trendy language.
Say again.
And trendy language, because like I said, it used to be called blackballing people. Somebody got blackballed, or getting rid of the weakest link, and now it's called cancel culture because it's catchy, it's trendy, and that's why it's such a big thing that we can latch onto it. And here we are having full discussions about cancel culture without really.
I mean, I think I think it's important, and here's why I say it's important. Because let's be real, before people was getting canceled for saying things about the LGBT community, they was getting canceled for saying doing racist stuff. So I remember when I was younger, was that player on the Braves, John Rocker, had did some shit, and he got canceled pretty quick. Sat down. Couldn't play, had to make a public apology, had to come humble and change his ways and all that stuff like that. People been getting called to the carpet for all sorts of stuff for a while.
So that was supposed to be the original purpose of cancel culture, was to sit people down, like they say in church. If somebody says something out of turn, they sit you down. So that you can take, it's like being put on punishment, so you can take a moment to think about the stupid shit you just did.
Yeah.
Hey, didn't I told you not to go into the cookie jar, and your dumb ass went in the cookie jar, get in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So people are laying the smackdown on people who are doing like, oh my God, Dave was talking about the baby. And I was like, yeah, but it's funny how Dave was putting it. But the truth of the matter is, dude need to be set down. Like, you need to be done for. Because he was of the mindset of I don't give a fuck what nobody say. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. But there's people who are gonna say, "Oh, I fucked up. Let me learn from this moment."
But Dave validated ignorance in that moment. He was like, Nah,
but
all the other idiots out there,
but validating that
fake intellectuals took what Dave said as affirmation.
Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for bringing that up. So, it's super. Is super agitating that by being extra ignorant in that moment, that makes the people who are bright enough to go, oh shit, yeah. Like when he said, don't abort the baby, that's a play on words that he used in his comedy, but he wasn't saying like, don't cancel the guy. He was making a joke about canceling him. So it's like, yeah, because he said, I go hard in the paint, and even I was like, damn, you can't say that shit, bro. And because the jokes progressed the way they did, we forget about certain nuances that he used in his show. It was definitely purposely ignorant.
But let's just say, if I missed it, all of the other people who really believed the baby wasn't wrong missed it and will be happy to take Dave's words out of context and use it as validation. See, Dave Chappelle's a genius, and he fucking with the baby, And see, that's right. Dave's standing up for all of us. That's right. Like, it's some of that
Dave
shit.
wasn't fucking with the baby, though. He wasn't really fucking with the baby at that point. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He wasn't saying that he fucked with the baby. He was just making fun of the whole situation. Because remember, he also did the part where he said the whole LGBT community can band together better than all of the black people in America. Mm-hmm. He also went into the part where he said that, oh my God, it was fresh on my tongue just a minute, on my mind just a minute ago, where it was, it was the part where the baby could, where in America, somebody could shoot a guy, but you can't offend the LGBT community.
Yeah, that's
a conviction. That's a conviction of our society. That's Absolutely. A conviction. He's pointing a finger at everybody who says, "Oh, but the baby. I mean, he didn't do nothing wrong. Yes, yeah, he offended a bunch of people. Dave offended a bunch of people, but this show is to say, Dave offended a lot of people, and he's like, I get it, but I'm still going to try to be funny. I'm still going to try to be a stand-up comedian." Because as a stand-up comedian, I'm supposed to push the envelope of what's humorous. I'm supposed to push the envelope of say, hey, society, are we going to laugh at ourselves, or are we going to laugh at other people, or are we going to laugh with each other? If we can't laugh with each other, then what the fuck is the point? If we're laughing at each other, then we have to wonder why we are doing that. If we're going to laugh at other people, or other things in life, why are we laughing at? Why do we find these things humorous? We grow up learning things that are bad. We just like our own family. I was watching a Netflix movie. Not Netflix, Prime Video movie, Black as Night, and the boy kept calling his sister Wesley Snipes because she was dark skinned. Mm-hmm. That shit is hurtful, And I know Wesley be like, why everybody gotta reference my ass for being black? It's people blacker than me, But that shit is funny when somebody's like, you black as Wesley Snipes, and you be like, oh man, dude, I got a birthmark on my face. Wait, let me get to. I got a birthmark on my face. They called me Spot when I was in grade school because I got a birthmark on my face. You know how many motherfuckers I punched in the face for fucking with me? Always getting sent down to the principal's office until they started respecting my gangster,
Well,
so, I mean, it's a society.
Again, man, for me, it's just perpetuating stereotypes and
it can.
And if a white comedian went on stage and perpetuated negative stereotypes about black people, I'll be calling them to the carpet for the same way.
So wait a minute. You said if. Oh wait, you said if. Most white comedians know better, don't they?
They do.
And why is that? Because those people have an understanding of what they're doing on stage.
Yeah.
But why is that?
I got one. For you. The dude from Seinfeld was doing a stand-up comedy and lost it, and they canceled the hell out of him, didn't they?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So that was an example for them folks not to do that shit no more. Oh no, you can't get away with that shit, Buster. We gonna shut you down.
Yeah.
And then he says, but I have black friends. And it was like, so you don't do that shit.
Yeah.
Because as a society, we're supposed to know better after all the shit that people's been through.
Well, that whole I have black friends thing is like played out because, I mean, let's be real.
Hell yeah.
Fox News always finds a couple.
Listen, let me tell you something. There's few places in America that are super bright white Americas, and they've revealed themselves because of their fearless clown leader. And people hold on to that stuff generationally. I'm gonna bring up generations again. They hold on to that stuff generationally, and that's why it should be bad that anybody is still using the N-word, even if it's just in a friendly manner. Because there are still those people in them podunk towns that'll be like, fuck them niggers. And they use the hard R while we just say, oh, let's soften it up with the A. Let's not use the word so that they can understand we don't like the word and we will fuck them up.
I mean, I don't know. I'll tell you this much. I never. And Brian, did you see Dave's previous specials?
What was the one that wasn't like? It was like he was just talking. It was like more of
equanimity.
That's most of them, really.
Equanimity was a good one.
I mean, he just talks and says like he talks and makes funny observations, and people kind of just it's funny. But I'll just say it like this: like none of the other shows really hit me that hard or offended me. It was just this one that was just like I was just looking at it like, this is.
Let me ask y'all a question.
I wish you did this better, Dave. And
let me ask y'all a question.
Yeah.
The It's Ma'am video that was like viral for a while.
Brian, you seen that one? Yeah. The GameStop one where the older white trans woman that like I don't know, she kind of messed up a GameStop store because she was arguing with the cashier. I guess the cashier.
No, the cashier kept referring to her as sir. And to the point where it was so frustrating she pushed over a display, right? Was she right for doing that or not, or the reaction of the fact that it became viral because people thought it was fucking funny? But that person was having a human experience, and the guy was purposely being purposely ignorant. And imagine if it would have went further. Would it have been a viral video because it was supposed to be funny, or would it have turned? If it had turned tragic, would it still have been a viral video? Because what if?
I mean, what if she viral? There's never one.
What if she had a gun in her purse?
Something going viral. Something goes viral because it's shocking or out of place.
Right, but what if she had a gun in her purse? Is what I'm asking.
Are you asking, would that change it from going viral?
Yeah, would it?
I don't think anything would change from going viral. Like something going viral is like it's a situational base. Like this situation that I do not see on the daily base, I want to record, and other people who also agree with that are going to see that and have share their opinion on it. And then if it's like I can
by that same logic.
Go ahead.
By that same logic you just said, right? So we're talking about Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
And we are actually giving that another set of platforms because people are like, damn, everybody talking about Dave Chappelle. Let me go see why they're so pissed off about this show or why they're talking about this show. And what I'm saying is if we talk about it from a cerebral, well, I won't say cerebral, from a more thought-provoking standpoint, then it becomes a whole nother scenario where it's can we ask the questions? Did Dave learn something from that last 16 years ago to make this show now? Did it seem like that at all? Maybe to some, maybe it's still the same motherfucker from that time. He just got old and fatter, but like I said, I watched the show about 5 or 6 times, and on purpose because I said, I don't understand why the show is so controversial. Because like I have never seen a Dave Chappelle show that wasn't. Well, maybe the Block Party video that he did wasn't controversial, but this is the same dude. This is the same dude that had the character. Was it? Not Tyrone Biggums, that's the crackhead. The black blind Klansman.
Oh, Clayton Bigsby.
Clayton Bigsby. This is the same dude that came up with Clayton Bigsby because he was mad with his producers about the fact that it was his use of the N-word, as a matter of fact.
Well,
you know,
I think that's where Dave shines is when he is when he has a strong knowledge base on a particular subject and he has a full master level grasp on the subject. He could do some beautiful shit with that knowledge.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. Okay, you made a point.
And in this, for when it's related to translate, he's not master level, and he was trying to pull that off, and that's why I say he attempted a beautiful thing. He attempted
without enough informational ammunition. Yeah. Okay.
So
okay, I see what you're saying.
But I realized he was trying to do something beautiful and bring people together and bring new understanding. And I see what he was attempting, but he just didn't have the tools to get it done. And that's
another point of view. I like that.
And I'm not saying cancel him. I know Dave Chappelle is not an angry, frothing at the mouth, transphobe, homophobe, anything like that. I never got that energy from him. I don't know if anybody else got that energy. I'm just saying it's me individually. And
I just think I'm
not seeing that as well. None of us are seeing this as a lot of the girls see it. Some of the women have seen it.
Well,
so
I don't live their experience. So if they're upset, we still need to respect that.
Absolutely.
We definitely have to respect that. What I'm saying is that my growing experience as a black man in America, there were some things that I would have just laughed my ass off about. But then I said, a little touchy there, Dave. I see what you're trying to do is comedy, because I left my mind open to do that. Mm-hmm. But before I started this, Andrea and my friend Sue are watching The Closer as I was waiting to get on this call with you. And I say, hey, can y'all watch this and tell me what y'all felt about it? They weren't really that upset. Mm-hmm. But they're in the older set of the trans women. So, they had a different view of it too. So, it's always going to be something different. Like the mentioning of Flame, I technically don't consider Flame trans myself. But oh well, if you want to keep referencing that person, that's as far as I mean, there was one stand-up routine that Flame did that I thought was kind of cute and funny, but the rest of it I was just like, especially when they started doing interviews, and I was like, but
back on Comic View was all right, but
sometimes people get big in the britches and they start saying stuff they think they can get away with, and this is what I was saying. Like Dave is purposely pushing the envelope in this show because I believe he was really upset about Daphne's suicide.
Yeah. And it could have been taken in a way where he was trying to make the trans community the villain in that story.
Yeah, oh, come on, let's not talk about that because I'm a ramble again, and I've been rambling this whole podcast.
I mean, the ladies want to hear from Brian. I think Doug, you and I can just get off of here and Brian can just talk because they're having
I'm gonna say something real ignorant. I'm gonna say something real ignorant real quick. They want the light skinned kilowatt smile to say something.
Oh no,
I'm not that light skinned when you see me.
You lighter than both of us.
I don't know.
I'm being an asshole like Dave Chappelle. Don't mind me. I was doing that on purpose.
Yes,
but if y'all want to see more of Brian, go watch one of my first 2-3 episodes. He's on there somewhere.
Tell Chris to send me more notifications so I could jump on more.
Absolutely.
So the only reason I got on this was because I was mad about part 1. I was like, what? Like, But you see how much I did this. That's all I was mad. I was like, I couldn't get on that other one unlimited.
Look, I'm happy
Chris
to give
let's do part 2.
Guys space, man. I'm happy to give you guys space and let you have your say. And I appreciate the perspective.
I can't wait to see the chats when it runs back.
Yeah. No, it's I mean, so actually
I can't see it in the comments.
Because I streamed. Oh damn. Doug kicked himself off.
Why you do that?
But one of the things that somebody said to me earlier today was, and it matched up with a comment from Michaela. And because again, I'm not frothing at the mouth like, yeah, fuck Dave Chappelle, fuck him, cancel. He's a whatever, this and this. I just have criticisms, and I'm just slightly disappointed. But hold on, let's see here. Right. So the person was just like, damn, Chris, it looked like you're choosing being LGBT over being black. And I'm like, bruh. And then what Michaela said a while ago, she was just like, the black community forgot that the LGBT community is still part black. And it's like, I see you, Doug, but she was just like, pointing that out, that it's
I hit the wrong button.
We all in the same boat here. And it is no, like, the separation that people be trying to, ain't nobody making no conscious choice to be one over the other. And I have never sat on this podcast and said, you know what, I'm a part of queer community. Give me a whole letter, all that shit. It's whatever. But I mean, and that's one of the criticisms, Doug, was that, when Dave did his trans voice, he did his white voice.
Oh, the white deep. Yeah. That. Yeah. So there's a comedic technique involved.
Shout out to Samaya for that one. That was from Samaya, the lioness from Box 512 podcast. I'm not going to steal ideas and not credit somebody for it.
So I took some acting courses, and there's a comedic technique that is very stereotypical and trifling and ignorant. Like if you're going to play someone who's not intelligent, you're going to make fun of someone who may be autistic or Down syndrome or something like that. Like Cuba Gooding playing radio, or what you may perceive, even after you've never actually met someone, you've seen some things on TV that you might like when we try to make fun of Asian people talking or Arabic people talking. They do the same thing about Americans talking, right?
David's done both of those.
Yeah, and so that is very problematic because it can be triggering. Like my birthmark, is triggering, but I grew out of it because I know better. There are people who are self-conscious about things about themselves. I had a serious stuttering problem coming up. I would always fail book reports where you got to come up and stand in front of the class. Then it was later like a stage fright thing. And look at me now, I'm just running my mouth and can't stop fucking talking. So yeah, there's always something triggering because we don't know everyone's experience. Again, like I grew up the 70s, 80s, 90s. Yeah, it was, man, just watch Good Times and the Jeffersons and All in the Family One Good Time, Fred Sanford and Son. And you go, damn, the 70s was way different. You don't walk up to people and go, you honky motherfucker no more. You don't do that. And they don't call you coons and niggas no, because times are supposed to change. But then you hit that one town in Alabama or anywhere that has that amount of folks.
It's called Coleman County.
Boy, I said, boy, who the fuck is you calling a boy?
Yeah.
So it's like picking your battles. And try not to be triggered so much, because sometimes being triggered can put you in a bad situation, because somebody could say something and not realize how triggering it was. And I'm not just talking about racism.
When they learn.
Yes, that's when that's a teachable moment. Oh, hey, you upset me with that.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, why did you think it was good to use that And then if you continue to use it after I explain to you that I'm upset, then because if you notice in the Dave show, he was saying, he upped his pronoun game, and he made a joke about, hey, I knew your father, and she was one heck of a woman, and it was like, that was fucked up, but peculiarly.
But it was the way
funny.
He said father. The way he said, I knew your father was like old school. Like it, the way he said it had so much connotation in it, where he wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm gonna totally go say that to that kid. It was like, I don't know.
I'm making a joke here, people.
Really,
I'm making a joke here, people. Please understand, I'm making fun of this situation because it's tragic, but I'm not trying to feel that right now. So he used a comedic technique of delivery. And some people still find it super, super offensive, though. And it's like, I get that you still find it offensive because a lot of us are used to automatically being offended.
But I again, it's the dumbasses that will take stuff like that and some of the other things that he said in that show and be like, that's right, I'm valid in thinking trans women are men, and they don't deserve no respect for nobody, because Dave Chappelle didn't give him no respect, and I ain't gonna give it to him either.
Go back to the part where you said the dumbasses, though.
Yeah.
See, the more thinking people do get that it's a comedy show, and it's like, this motherfucker is pushing an envelope. The other people who are just determined to be mad are going to be mad, and can't reach them beyond the fact that because that motherfucker, it's like, you ever try to break up a fight because there was a misunderstanding? The nigga moment from Boondocks, and you just offended, and then he said, wait a minute, why am I getting into this with you? So it goes back to triggering. If people are going to be triggered by anything, they're going to be triggered by anything. If we can settle down and just see stuff as being relevant in a Jesus, here I go with the bullshit. Relevant in a way that's not really as offensive as we perceive it to be. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm pissed off. So I'm gonna say I'm pissed off. You're allowed to say you're pissed off. I'm also allowed to say that I understand you're pissed off, but that was fucking entertaining from my point of view. And not be like, oh, you're just an asshole. Well, okay, well, now, in your perspective of me as an asshole, then I'll do what I can to persuade you that I'm not. But if that's what you're going to perceive, there might be nothing that I will ever be able to do in life to persuade you that that one moment you thought I was an asshole will be me for the rest of my life. I don't like Doug because he's an asshole because he likes that other guy. And I'm like, I didn't say I appreciated the performance. I didn't say, I don't know Dave, but I appreciated his performance. And it may make me seem to be an asshole for saying that this was a great show. I say it was a great show because it was entertaining. And for me, it's one of those learning moments. I can pick apart things and say, yeah, I see how but do you really think he meant it to just
he wasn't ready.
Piss you off?
He wasn't ready. He just wasn't ready. And I just think we have to go for it. But I think part a piece of what you were saying earlier really is it's easy. I mean, you can tell when people just aren't they don't have enough consideration to even try to be considerate of somebody else and their feelings. Like it doesn't take, like when you talk about this pronoun game, it don't take nothing to really just be considerate, because somebody, well, I don't care, I'm gonna just call them that anyways. And it's just like, all you got to do is be considerate. Right. It's a little effort. But it's just free.
I thought Brian was gonna say something.
I was saying I agree. Like I know a lot of people who get upset. It's like, why did I gotta call him or her and stuff like that? And it's like, what? How much work is it?
It's common.
Like,
it's a courtesy. Like fuck, dude. Like you can't just be kind enough to respect someone. Like my brother doesn't like to be called by his name. So we gave him a nickname. We all call him by his nickname, and if somebody calls him by his birth name, he gives them another name to call him. And it's that simple. You know what I mean? Like if someone says, refer to me this way, your brain should be like, okay, not why the fuck I gotta get. But because of the way we learn in society, we're taught that we can do whatever the fuck we want. But the truth is, how does that affect society? How does that affect society? So if we want to be more kinder and gentler to each other, we should respect each other in that vein. And I think my perspective of this show was that Dave was trying to be effective in saying, hey, look, I'm a comedian. I tell jokes. I really don't have a problem. It's just shit that I think is funny, because I know on a daily basis, my dumb ass come up with some funny things that I don't let leave my mind because it's fucking horrible, But I recognize as a human being, I just had a fucked up thought, and I'm like, oh shit, I better not ever say that out loud, because somebody gonna they gonna just bust me in the mouth for saying the dumb shit I just thought up. I was on a bus a couple years ago, and there was a lady on the bus. No, she knew. Oh, she knew. The way the bus was set up, she got on the bus. She knew where she was supposed to sit on them front 3 seats on the bus. You understand what I'm saying? And then some kid had to be like, damn, lady. And everybody's like, boy, just shut the fuck up. All of us on the bus was like, bro, that's not the time for that. But his first reaction was not to have that self-control and self-discipline. Because let's just say she didn't want to be on the bus, and it was clear in her demeanor as she even got, because it was a moment for her to get on the bus, just for the lift to get down that would normally be for wheelchair people. She was already embarrassed getting on the bus, and the majority of us riders were like, oh. But in our head, we're like, damn, this bitch is fat as fuck,
Oh my God, bro.
What? What I say? What I say?
No, it's cool. It's cool, man.
I just made that whole situation up, right?
Oh no,
that was not a real situation.
Okay,
that was not a real situation.
I wanted to bring up a comment here, man, because Miss Maja really kind of hit the nail on the head.
I can't read this; it's too small.
Oh yeah, no. She said a majority of Americans are learning about us through these toxic perspectives and narratives from non-trans women. Since people are controlling our narrative and defining us for the masses, not cool.
100% agree.
Yeah, but I mean Dave didn't help in this respect at all. He didn't help.
Okay. Yeah.
And talking about, well, dang, lady,
just jokes.
I didn't talk about your big neck, and I didn't talk about your big this.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, but yeah, and that reaches to other things, but whatever. But yeah, I think it's really.
See, now I just put something together in my head and I learned something just now. Yeah, I see where that's not cool.
Absolutely. Respect.
But and like I said, we bypass other jokes. That's something I bypassed during the show. And being the type of guy I would like to become or be, I can acknowledge that because that's important. That's really important in how we communicate with each other, acknowledging things that are indeed touchy, hurtful, upsetting, frustrating, angering, and things like that. Triggering is really important.
I mean, he was pretty much like, he was playing to the old Holiday Heart stereotypes, really.
Like, but that's what I was saying about his comedic performance. I was saying that, and then when you see that there are people who have the different perspective on that, because like I said, I'm coming from the old school thought patterns too, and trying to mesh the fact that I personally think my opinion is that we lost what we used to call the tough skin. The toughening up of the skin, we lost that around the 90s, where everybody was so offended by every little thing, and sometimes it's not that offensive. You just blew it up. And then with that comment there, I'm like, no, I can't say that no more. It's offensive. Like people, if someone finds something offensive, you can't say walk it off anymore. You can't say walk it off anymore.
You gotta because people want to feel heard, and they want to be heard, and people have a voice now. And once upon a time, you didn't have to hear from people. You could just walk around, do whatever you want to. You ain't got to hear shit. Now we got the internet where everybody gets a voice, and especially with the trans community, they really didn't have a voice that was loud enough for anybody to hear. Once upon a time. And it's like,
can I say something really ignorant though?
Yes, sir.
I say something really ignorant. Never mind.
Okay. Fair enough. But well, shit. I'm gonna really wrap this up, fellas, because we've definitely been going around for a bit.
Yeah, we're an hour and a half almost. Oh, that was good.
It's been.
I didn't feel like it for me. I was talking so much, it didn't feel like it.
I have one question though.
Yeah.
Let's say 2 years goes by, and Dave Chappelle comes out with another special, and it really seems like he didn't learn anything. Do you think by then he'll get canceled, or you think it'll just be a repeating thing, or you think it'll just get said that Dave Chappelle is he's old man jokes and not going to change, or like what do you all project if nothing changed in 2 years or a 3 year difference? I don't know. 5 years, whatever.
What really changed with Dave? What really changed with him already? What really changed with him though?
I mean, it seemed like you guys were saying you're saying he made got this much education, but he didn't do a lot. So do you even think he wants to change? Like, do you think I personally feel like he has in himself he may think I've done enough work where it's and I talked to enough people where I'm at a level where I don't need change. I am progressive enough. I get into that level that I thought was progressive enough. But
can I be controversial real quick?
My main question though is the key, because I don't want to extend this another 30 minutes. If it just happens again in another 3 years, we'll just I don't know how long his specials are between them. I don't know, 3 or 5.
I think that answer largely depends on how much society changes and how much more society values.
And we're talking about a what if scenario because
women in the trans community. Because right now, the difference between what we were talking about with John Rocker and that other shit, it became socially unacceptable in general society that doing these things is not cool, and it's not. That it isn't that way yet with any kinds of transphobic comments, anything against the trans community. It is still an outlier group saying, hey, this is wrong, but it is nowhere near the majority. And society hasn't changed over yet to where it's generally understood you don't do this. We're not there yet, and I don't know.
Can I be controversial?
Okay, go ahead.
So Dave made the joke about the veteran. You know what part I'm talking about?
I don't remember it.
But
which
the joke could be offensive to veterans too.
I'm a veteran. What was the joke?
About the trans man going into the bathroom with him.
Oh, he said that was a veteran?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for your service.
Oh, fair. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So he was talking about the North Carolina bathroom bill, and he said that he would be uncomfortable if a trans woman came in and used the urinal right next to him. But
are you sure he said
with a trans man coming in and bending over and peeing in the urinal.
Right, but do you see where the comedic performance is saying, let's think about this in a fair manner. No one should be denied the right to.
That was in this special?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. To use a public bathroom. The law was just stupid, and he was making it seem even stupider. In his performance. And again, like you said, there are some people who would misinterpret that into, further making it harder for people to use the bathroom. But at the same time, it's supposed to be more of a presentation. And let's think about why we make these dumbass laws. Everybody, as a human being, we should all know about how our bodies work. To be offended by it because our bodies are the way they are is to be offended about the human condition in general, because our bodies can take on, we are an adaptive species. Our bodies can take on many forms if you wanted to. And I hate to do this, but there's the phenomenon in some of the island nations with the darker skins where they want to bleach their skin to be lighter because they've been taught that their dark skin is bad. Things of this nature are commonplace, and I hate for it to be a commonplace thing. But we got to recognize that as human beings, we have our misconceptions, our missteps, our misinformation, our just misconceptions, period, that things shouldn't be this way or they should be this way. And because of that, we have a divide in the human condition. Just because of a societal belief, and beliefs aren't facts. Opinions aren't facts, but we rely on these things as if they are true. And then there's the truisms that get totally lost in the mix. The truth is we're all human. We need to fucking be nicer to each other, regardless of our presentations, of how we represent ourselves, because we also say, hey, be unique. The minute you be unique, look at this clown over here. Who does that? It's like, but I'm supposed to be able to be unique, right? Mm-hmm. So ultimately, it is up to us to educate each other, I guess. I think I'm saying that right. To a point, because there's always going to be those resistant, ignorant ones. I don't think Dave was showing resistance to his past ways. I'm sorry, to growing from his past ways. In this, I think he was attempting to have a good show, no matter what. I mean, there's controversy surrounding me. I just want to be a comedian. I want to come out and have a good show. Mm-hmm. My style is to be offensive, so people have to just respect my style, I guess, because I don't have any other material. And then people are like, well, if you don't have material, you shouldn't be up here trying to be funny. Well, the audience proved that he was quite entertaining because they packed the house, and he's got his tickets. And going back to what you said about canceling, regardless of his income, people can boycott all they want to. Like you said, you was eating Chick-fil-A. I've been boycotting Chick-fil-A for 20 years. But am I making a difference? I'm trying to be part of something that's making a difference in the way the owner of Chick-fil-A thinks. But do you really think that man cares about my opinion? He's still doing the same thing, no matter how much but I'm just not going to give him a red cent of my money because I don't like his views, the way he acts. There are people who are like, shit, Chick-fil-A is delicious. I'm like, I'll eat a Popeyes. If Popeyes act stupid, I won't eat their fucking sandwiches either. So it's a matter of where we are in our personal journeys in the human experience and being surrounded by other human behavior, because our behavior affects. We're all just pebbles hitting the pond. All these ripples are happening and they crashing into each other. We don't know what we're doing. In the next minute, you offended somebody. Hey, I'm sorry. 2 days after my birthday, I had one of my buddies was shot at a bar because he bumped into a girl at the bar by accident. She was drunk. She called her boyfriend. Boyfriend came up to the bar, shot my buddy in the head in the parking lot because there's a little misunderstanding in the bar. As human beings, are we preserving human life? No. We're all a bunch of assholes who think we need to act like savages and barbarians. So why not us laugh at some really dumb shit because we know this comedian is being dumb on purpose. If everything is offensive to us, our mental state cannot achieve happiness no matter what.
I mean, it's
and we
like,
can't imagine maintaining happiness though.
I mean, it's difficult when everything around you is, pretty much shitting on you. But it's kind of I really liken it to, the style like the old minstrel style of comedy with the white gloves and the blackface, and it's just like everybody thought that shit was fucking hilarious, and obviously it wasn't. And
we had a movie. Yeah, we had a movie when I was growing up called The Watermelon Man.
The Watermelon Man.
That's all I'm gonna say. I'm sorry to interrupt you. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, yeah, so I mean, it's reinforcing harmful stereotypes is not. And I know Dave is not. Dave is old. He's older in his thinking, and he's not as flexible as people really would think he is. But what it really is like what I said last night, which is, it's the reason why Trump is so bad isn't because of what Trump says and does. It's because how his followers interpret what he says and does and what they do based on what they get from him. So that's why it's so bad. Like people.
You think they only got it from? You think they only got it from Trump?
No, I didn't say they only got it from Trump, but Trump made people feel a lot more comfortable and affirmed in that. That's right. It's okay, and now I'm going to be a lot more open about my shit. Yeah.
You think that's what happened, or do you think they put him in office because those people wanted that? Because they put him in office because those type of people wanted that. There's a big difference here. Trying to equate that to what Dave Chappelle did. A person has a platform and they say their piece. There are people who are going to like it. There are people who, hey, remember those times when people didn't like you because you were saying what you felt?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna personalize it real quick because we had some conversations and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
And you had to come to terms whether or not you were going to continue doing this because so forth and such. So it's something similar to that in the fact that we are focusing on is he enabling people? Not necessarily, but people can interpret it that way. People can definitely interpret it that way. But
I'm not saying that was his intention specifically. I don't think he went out and saying, you know what, I'm going to send people out there affirmed in their bullshit.
Well, my whole conversation is that sometimes we have to not be so thin-skinned and say, hey, there's some other aspects that could come out of this. There's some he's just a comedian. He's fucking terrible. Some of the shit he says is just stupid. And then we move on because it's like, hey, can somebody call Dave and tell that motherfucker he can't say no dumb shit like that ever again? When we can do that, then it's going to be more meaningful. trying to say let's just we can call for boycotting Dave Chappelle forever, but there's still going to be an audience for him. You know,
just like there's always going to be people that want to eat chicken at Chick-fil-A. Yes,
because before I heard all of that, I enjoyed me some Chick-fil-A. Then I heard that, and I was like, y'all gonna stop eating the man's chicken because he said that? And then somebody sat me down and said, really, listen. So being in the situation you get to say, okay, you're this straight guy, and you get to say this, that, and thing. And I'm like, I always like to use quotations with straight too. That's another story. But your life is such that you can just go through without being attacked for living your life. And I looked at the person who said that and said, so you assume that I've never had any issues with living my life. I'm a black man in America, and you assume that I've never had any issues, just walking down the street and the cop just throws you against the wall because he assumed you're dealing drugs because you look like me. But anyway, I said, nah, them sandwiches is good. I'm gonna keep on eating the sandwiches because that's not my issue. A couple weeks later, had another conversation. And that conversation convinced me to say, hey, you know what? That's not helping the human condition. So I have to jump on that bandwagon and boycott Chick-fil-A. It had nothing to do with me being a member of the LGBT community or anything like that. It was about the human condition that you would do like the Germans did and say that these people are bad and you want to change them, change them. You want to convert them to being different than they are. Like we say, again, I'm gonna go back to it. We say people should be unique, but then we want people to change. We want people to change because for some reason their difference is scary or threatening to us. So we get mad with them.
Well, I'll say it like this, because we're talking about Chick-fil-A for having their Christian views, and
I'm talking about more than Chick-fil-A. I'm just talking about
all that stuff. Okay. Oh, well, we're talking about more than Chick-fil-A. All right. Go ahead. My bad.
Yeah. What I mean is that there's things we can do as just human beings, and let's get rid of all the labels. I'm not black. I'm not white. I'm not gay. I'm not straight. I'm not a man. I'm not a woman. I am a citizen of this planet Earth, and I think that we all should treat each other better. So the advent of a show that I find entertaining, you don't want me to watch it because it's not entertaining to you. That's okay. That's okay. But don't chop my head off because I said I found it entertaining, or whatnot. Oh, well, you're on his side. No, I just thought it was entertaining because I saw it from a different point of view. And sometimes we need to open our minds to that because we're caught up in anger. We're caught up in our feelings and our emotional attitude and all this sort of stuff, and we don't woo-saw that away, and we just make it hard. We make it hard for everybody, not just ourselves. I feel bad. Fuck it. Everybody else gonna feel bad too because that's the fucking way I feel like it. And I'm going to people usually lose friends because they were upset about a moment, a fucking moment.
Oh yeah,
that could have been fixed had we not been mad about it.
Yep. Completely right.
It takes years for us to calm down finally, and then it's like, oh, I miss my friend. No, fuck that. You burnt that bridge. Yeah. But you didn't have to burn that bridge. All you had to do was, you know what? I'm gonna stay on this side. I'm not gonna cross that bridge until I'm ready to. But we're taught to just burn the bridge down and say, damn the friendship, or damn the relationships. Well,
I think that, with every entertainer, every comedian, whatever, especially one, who is so political in what he does and how he handles things, You know, I would say more than most. You know, I think there needs to be room for intellectual criticisms, but
Yes.
you know, I'm not saying, you know, about just jumping straight to the yelling and the canceling and all that stuff, but people are interpreting people that say, hey, you know what, when he was, I look, he okay, I didn't like this part of it, he was wrong on this, whatever else, it was overall good, but there are some downsides and it's not a perfect review. He's done better, he could do better, and I hope he does better next time. And you know, oh well, dang, you got something bad to say? Why are you being sensitive? Why are you being thin-skinned? I just don't think, I think he could have done better. I don't think everything he did was great or right. And I think he messed up.
That's why I had to watch the show a couple times. That's why I had to watch a couple of shows. Because I originally had that. Like, y'all sensitive motherfuckers. He just was doing a comedy. Then I said, oh, pull it back, Douglas, because yeah, it's offensive, but you see humor, but there are people who see offense. And so I had to say, I like the show. That's what I can say. And I could try to give myriad of reasons why I personally like the show, but that's my POV. Your POV is different. Brian's POV is different. Somebody else's POV was like, that motherfucker ain't shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, and then I go, why is he not shit? Because he was doing a comedy show? And then I'm going to ask, what the hell is that?
Oh, I'm just cycling through comments.
No, it's hundreds. It's hundreds. I didn't see what it was.
I'm just cycling through comments. Y'all can keep going. I'm just showing them off. Add to the video.
Yeah. It wasn't all negative though. It wasn't all negative. It was not. There were parts that were negative, but they were presented to not be as negative.
Now, here's a question from Miss Myasia. She says, "Do you think those jokes would be more acceptable and or funny if it came from an actual trans woman?"
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
It would be heard less, and I think it would. Okay, I'll say it like this: it would have hit a little bit differently, only because.
No, I'm talking about.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was talking about the acceptability, not necessarily. But let me say this: the girls tell jokes amongst themselves.
Yes.
You know, that are just as ignorant. You know, all you have to do is follow somebody on Twitter long enough to see some of the trifling shit that's said
Twitter
about each other. Not just about us men. And then see how acceptable that really is.
Brian?
I mean, I think it would be more acceptable, yeah, but at the cost of it being, I feel like Dave Chappelle's whole situation, why it's more funny is because it's more shocking or more offensive. I think that's why that's where that ties in together. So I think when it's coming,
some people like that style of comedy.
I mean, no matter what comedy there is, just like porn, no matter what it is, there's someone who will like it. There's someone who will look at it. Someone who will laugh at it, or someone who will get offended. But
touchdown, he said porn.
I think if it came from a trans woman, would it be as funny? I don't think it would come. I don't think people would think it would be as funny as if it coming from Dave Chappelle. But that's also because I think Dave Chappelle is on a platform. He's built this type of status for himself. It's also sometimes things are just funny because it comes from this person, right?
I got an example.
Wait. So I don't.
No.
I don't. Oh, go ahead.
No. You finish. I'm sorry.
My brain's
moved too fast.
And so sorry. So
is that a puppy?
I got two dogs over here.
Me too.
But they damn, I kind of lost my thought. But anyways, long story short, I think it'd be more acceptable. But because something's more acceptable, I don't think it'd be quote unquote as funny to the mass.
I think a lot of what Dave Chappelle's commentary was in the past was funny, but I think it was also funny because while Black comedians make generalizations about the Black community in a lot of their humor, and it's funny to us, but you know, they're also standing there as proof that the stereotype doesn't apply for all because they're nothing like that. Like Dave Chappelle is nothing like any of the harsh. Like if it was a white comedian talking about all these stereotypes about the black community, there would be no proof. Like there wouldn't be proof standing in front of them saying, "Hey, obviously we're not all like that, but these are things we all know. Different people in our community and we like to laugh about, and it's funny." Like that's how I see it. With if it was a trans woman doing it, talking about women with Adam's apples and thick necks and whatever else. Like if they was doing all that, it could share a different.
So there's a truism. There's a truism here though.
Okay.
Because some people who present as trans still have that scenario going on. That's why I brought up the "It's Ma'am" video. And then there's the thing of trying to make situations humorous so as to not be as hurtful. So there's a social commentary that comes from a comedian that I thought it, but you said it. So the comedian will say some things that I thought about some stuff. I know somebody else might have thought about it too. So I'm gonna say this dumb shit. There's also the way it's delivered. Going back to the question about if it was acceptable if a trans woman had said those same jokes, possibly. But then again, it could have been horrible because they could have been delivered horribly. Then there would be people be like, "Oh, I can't believe she said that. She's trans herself," and it's like, okay, well, she felt like saying some shit. You might be offended. It might be a few people might be offended, but maybe like I said before, it's some shit she was thinking. I could tell a joke two ways. One example I like is butt cheeks one word or should I spread them apart?
Funny.
Is butt cheeks one word or should I spread them apart? Classic joke, but in the delivery, people go, "Oh, ha ha! Oh, I get it! Oh, that was funny! Oh, So funny is subjective. Acceptable is also very subjective, depending on situation. Wait, do we think what?
Oh no, that was the same one.
Oh, okay.
That was the same question.
Oh, okay. And so we do have to again look at that in terms of would we rather be in a state of laughter or a state of anger? Which one feels better? I can be angry that somebody told an offhand. I can be angry because somebody told an offhanded joke, or I can just be like, "This nigga needs jokes."
Nah, bro. I went with I don't know what's called anger, but I just I don't fuck with George Lopez anymore. Like I'm done with him, and it only took once. I was back in Denver. They had this comedy channel where they just played different stand-up bits. And George Lopez was in there. He had a whole joke about he was talking about being in a Hispanic household and bringing someone black home. And he was talking about how unacceptable it is to bring someone black home and how your mom would freak out and how you shouldn't do it or whatever else. Did you see Joe Coy do that? Did you see Joe Coy do the same thing? I didn't see Joe Coy do it. I listened to George Lopez do it, and I'm like, you know what? All right, I'm done with George Lopez because
he was talking about a reality that happens in his family. That happened in his family. He's talking about a reality. You know. So why is that so offensive? He was talking about a truism that actually happens.
Well, I didn't cancel Joe Coy, but
I had a girlfriend.
Lopez.
No. I said I had a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Took me home to her mom. Her mom was all cool, But when it came to trying to introduce me to her father and brother, you know, it was convenient that they were never around because she realized that she could not bring me around her father and brother because I was black and she was white. You know, that relationship didn't last because of that. Because I was like, are they really that bad? And why are you trying to be with me if you can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't be that. She didn't understand. She didn't understand my frustration with her actions.
That's a really good question to other trans men about bringing a trans woman home. Parallels.
So my mom is cool with my relationship, you know, but the rest of my dad passed away, my grandparents passed away. And you know, I tried a couple of relationships. My mom didn't like a couple of people I brought home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, but here's the thing, man. And the joke.
We lived with my mother for 3 years. You know, it's just like.
Oh, you and that girl?
No.
Oh.
Me and Andrea.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha.
So.
But I think
this thing's situational whether we cancel people or we don't fuck with them or not.
I mean, it's everybody's.
Send the dogs down, please. She just told me.
It's everybody's individual choice whether to fuck with a entertainer or not. And I chose not to. I mean, you know, he had the opportunity to be like, yeah, well, you know,
I'm still with you guys.
It shouldn't.
I'm just going to take my dogs out real quick.
Gotcha.
So cool. I can still hear y'all on my earpiece.
Okay. Well, you know, it shouldn't matter. Like, I'm just saying he had an opportunity to be like, yeah, okay, well, but we all know that shouldn't matter. X, Y, and Z, like just something to pad it, but you know, he didn't. And at that point, I'm like, yeah, I'm out. Like, see ya.
I'm not saying it shouldn't matter. That's something I gotta clear up.
No. I'm saying George should have said something to that effect. Like, okay, let's have the fun. Let's joke about something that happens in our households, but we all know it shouldn't be like that. Like, of course, it's dumb.
Yeah, his delivery was terrible.
There should have been something to that effect, but he kind of reveled in it a little bit, and I was like, yeah, I'm out. And you know, it is what it is at that point.
Cultural differences and stuff like that are touchy.
I mean, I was, you know what, I would say it. If there was a trans comedian, or if there was a comedian period joking about bringing a trans woman home, and that was a sore spot for a woman because she had a bad experience in her past with that, and you know, I would be like,
did Flame do that?
Walk away from that shit.
Didn't Flame make a dumbass joke like that before?
I mean, Flame said a lot of dumb shit, but you know, I'm just saying, like, for me. So I mean, when you were talking about, you know, are we gonna sit in the moment and laugh? Are we gonna have anger? I just walked away. I'm like, yeah, no, fuck that dude. I'm out. Like, I didn't raise holy hell and be like, no,
you exercise
don't fuck with him. I'm just like,
you exercise self-discipline too in that moment. You know what I mean? You exercise self-discipline and not freaking out, blowing up, and all. Just, you know what? I'm done, and just casually remove yourself.
I mean, there's plenty of other comedians out there.
We learn that. We learn that in martial arts. You don't have to fight all the time.
There you go. So George Lopez ain't the only comedian out there. Just walked away. And I like offensive comedy. I love Patrice O'Neal, Bill Burr.
Patrice O'Neal.
I love them motherfuckers. I love the angry white man that is Bill Burr. I like offensive humor. And I'm sure Brian has heard a lot of really fucked up offensive shit being in the military, because that's kind of the only jokes they tell over there.
Yeah. I mean, offensive shit is just what people believe comedy is based off of. Or good comedy is based off of, which could be true. But I just think, regardless of whatever it is, you could laugh at whatever and still be offended by something in the same breath. So I like, and no, I'm all about repercussions. So it's like there's a reaction to every action, right? Or however the thing goes.
Fair enough.
We had whole TV shows telling mama jokes in the 90s.
They had that in the 2000s.
Oh, that was a TV show. Wow, that was weird. I don't know. I mean,
when I used to do it on the streets, I'd be like, damn, these mugs just, damn, y'all just gonna go on. You don't even know my mama, motherfucker. You know, and you just gonna.
But those jokes are so funny. Even when they were saying it to you, you were laughing.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, oh, I'm gonna fuck you up. You don't talk about my mom like that. But you know what? That shit made me snicker a little bit.
Your mom could be skinny as fuck, and they could say your mama's so fat, and you'll be laughing with everybody else. Like,
yeah, you'd be like, damn, you just gonna randomly make a mama joke, and you don't even know my mama.
Yes, that's how we did.
How you know my mama was anorexic, motherfucker?
I mean, that today probably like, well, you know how I think it could go in that direction.
It's not funny. My mom's anorexic.
Well, not that, but like, you know, you didn't know. How could you? That's anti whatever and this and this, and it can go in that direction. Fine, but anyway, I think we're kind of getting far off track, anyways. But
yeah, we did. So it's 2 hours and some odd seconds.
We're gonna wrap this up for real this time.
It's been fun. It's been fun.
You know, thanks for coming on, Doug and Brian. Appreciate both of y'all for man. You know.
I appreciate you letting me have my rant.
Yeah, hey, I'm happy to open up my platform for the brothers.
Love debates, yo. This is good.
For sure. So with that, I appreciate everybody that hung in there with us tonight on a Saturday night. And you know, you still got plenty of time to go have a good Saturday night. So get on out there, have some fun, and enjoy yourself. Be safe out there, everybody. And you know, until next week.